back to another edition of Recovery on Screen, the YouTube series from the Addicted in Film Movie Club, where we break apart films about addiction and recovery and what they can tell us about the nature of addiction and how to recover successfully. I've got a very special guest today who's going to tell us about how actually making a film, about his recovery process, his very unique and very physical recovery process, is something that we could all learn from. That's coming up next here on Recovery on Screen.
I remember I would have full-out panic attacks on a regular basis, and I didn't know what they were. I relied on alcohol to just shut it out, shut off my mind, and kind of push through it. It was just an ongoing cycle, and it was very difficult for me to turn it all off. Then when that wall came crumbling down and I could no longer hide it anymore, I was done.
Hi, welcome back. I've got a very special guest today I'm really excited about. His name is Ben Tuff, who's from Vermont and who has a very unique story to tell about how he used the sport of swimming to overcome some life challenges that he had related to addiction. His movie is called SWIM TUFF, How I Swam My Way Out of a Bottle. And we're going to see some clips from the film. Ben, welcome to the show. I'm really happy that you could make it.
No, thank you for having me. It's a lot of fun to talk about my new endeavor as a filmmaker and producer.
And so this is the first time you've actually even made a film. Tell us a little bit about your story up to this point.
Yeah, actually in 1 month's time, actually 1 month tomorrow, I'll have 11 years of sobriety, which I'm happy and proud of. And, over the years, I've never been the person in sobriety to be quiet about anything I do. And while I was drinking, which was my addiction or substance of choice, I wasn't quiet doing anything either. And I've been allowed kind of all over the place person, very enthusiastic. And when I first got sober, I said, oh my gosh, I was so excited about everything surrounding sobriety that the one thing I wanted to do is get out there and help as many people as I possibly could, as quickly as I could.
To get yourself sober and do recovery, one of the things that you chose to do, which, like, for instance, in my particular case, I wrote this book as one of the things that I did, among many different things that I did to sort of reinforce my own recovery. But you took up some very competitive. So tell us a little bit about that, and then how that turned into a film.
I was told when I was 3 days in at rehab, I was like, how do I find a sponsor? And one of the guys who I was living with said, you find the baddest guy in there, the one who's going to hold your feet to the fire, who's not going to mess around, who's going to take you through the steps and go for it. And I heard this guy, Ken, talk. And I was like, holy cow, this guy's awesome. He's got an Irish accent. He was one of the top marathon runners in Ireland. And now he's doing the sport of triathlon. I want to be just like him. I want to be sober. I'm going to ask him to be my sponsor. And so after the meeting, I said, one, Ken, can you be my sponsor? And two, do you think I can learn how to swim? And he said yes to both of those. I didn't know how to swim. I mean, I kind of knew how to get from point A to point B. I could almost make it the full length of a pool. And I'd done some swimming when I was younger, but I didn't really know how to swim. And I was like, Ken, there's no way that I'm going to be able to learn this. And he said, Ben, it just takes time, it takes persistence, and it takes a matter of just turning off your mind, sort of like in sobriety. And I was like, like now that I think of it, I can really compare this journey of learning how to swim to my journey in sobriety. One place that I found the peace and the quiet and the connection to my higher power and most at ease was in the water. And I said, let's just go for let's just start doing some long swims. Like I'll do a 12.5 mile swim around Key West as a warm up and see how that goes. And then I did another 21-mile swim. And then I was the first person to swim from Block Island to Jamestown, Rhode Island, which is another 19 miles. And then most recently, I swam from Providence to Jamestown, which is the equivalent of Newport, just across the bay, which was just under 25 miles. And I'm not a really good swimmer, is the funny thing. Like, I'm able to just go for it. And people are like, how do you do that? Like, that must hurt so bad. And I say, you know how much hurt I've had in my life? Like, I just go to that dark place that I once was at, and I think about the fact that I worked my way out of that. Don't be a wimp. You can do this. This is just physical. And I talk a lot about hitting your wall. And there are two walls that a person can hit. You have a mental wall and a physical wall. A physical wall is really easy to get over if you learn to endure and you put in the time and you do it enough. The mental wall is the hardest of all of them. And as I look back at getting sober, that reluctance to ask for the necessary help and support, or the things that were preventing me most from getting that support, those are the mental factors that I travel to on a daily basis when I get into the pool and I get out there and I make the most of whatever my workout is for that day. So a year and a half ago, Matt Corliss, who's a great producer and an awesome dude, he came to me and he said, let's make a movie together, Ben. Like, your story is so cool. Like, I want to be a part of this. And from there, he flew up from Boulder over to Vermont, and we just filmed for 5 days to make a trailer, kept the budget under $5,000. And from there, we raised the necessary funds, which was probably about $35,000 to make the movie, just film the movie part. And now we're just at $100,000 with final production right now. And we're ready to go.
That is as much as you could ask for any piece of art or documentary in your particular story committed to film. So that's a wonderful undertaking. And the world is a better place, and the addiction and recovery community is a better place thanks to the efforts of people like you. Ben, thank you so much for being on Recovery on Screen. We really, all of us in the Addicted in Film Movie Club, celebrate your efforts. And we just, we love that there are people out there like you who are killing it in their recovery, but also, documenting it and creating works of art, especially film, because film really does have the power to transform others who might be struggling and need the inspiration and might be drawn to your example as a way to, dig themselves out of whatever hole that they're in and triumph. That now they don't have to, swim 26 miles from Providence to, to Canada or whatever it is that you did, but the metaphor is the same. Successful recovery takes a commitment to something, to take a risk, to try something different, and to emerge out the other side a new person with a new sense of meaning and commitment. And it sounds like that's exactly what your story, and this film is all about. So congratulations for that. The movie is Swim Tuff. I'm talking to Ben Tuff, the filmmaker and the actual marathon crazy swimmer who does these crazy swim challenges as part of his recovery. Thanks again for being on the show, and keep us posted.
Thanks for having me.